They met on an empty Australian beach, cameras rolling, salt wind turning every laugh into the kind of moment audiences replay in slow motion. That summer of 2023, the set of Anyone But You looked like a postcard, until two young stars lit a match that would burn through more than reels of film. Sydney Sweeney, fresh off Emmy buzz, and Glen Powell, the grin from Top Gun Maverick, spent 3 months trading jokes so quick, the crew swore the microphones missed half of them. Viewers would later call it chemistry. Insiders whispered it felt like a dare. Sydney's fiancé, Midwest restaurateur Jonathan Davino, flew in for the first week, posed for polite group photos, then faded from frame. Glen's longtime girlfriend, model Gigi arrived with sunblock and optimism, but soon posted a sunset selfie captioned, "Know your worth and then add tax," before booking the next flight back to Los Angeles. The beach kept rolling, the jokes kept coming, and a rumor found its first breath. Rap Day brought a cocktail party over the water. Phones everywhere. One 30-second Instagram story captured Powell lifting Sydney waist-high while crew members cheered. The clip hit 1 million loops overnight. Headline writers smelled blood. By dawn, the phrase "Sydney Glen" trended across Twitter. Half the syllables hearts, half daggers. Both publicists released the identical line. Just friends, thrilled to bring this story to life. The studio loved it. CinemaCon in April gave them the stage to pour gasoline. Glen strode out first, pretending to wipe sweat from his brow, then announced, "My co-star is so talented, it's terrifying." Sydney answered by tousling his hair in front of 3,000 exhibitors. Memes bloomed faster than press releases. But backstage, the collateral damage grew sharper. Gigi unfollowed both actors the next morning, her profile suddenly private. Tabloids called it betrayal, fans called it marketing, and Glen kept grinning through every lens. Sources close to the production admitted those unscripted sparks turned into the best free ads Sony Pictures had seen in years. Sydney, meanwhile, still wore her pearl engagement ring during early press Zooms. Then, one August paparazzi shot caught her coffee-to-go hand perfectly, ringless. Blogs circled the absence like sharks. A family friend insisted the wedding was simply delayed, not dead, but the internet preferred juicier verbs. Reddit threads mapped every photo angle from March to August. The verdict: the ring vanished right as the first trailer dropped. Coincidence or campaign? The line blurred until nobody could swear it ever existed. Sony's teaser arrived late August. Instead of hiding rumors, the editors plastered them across the 2-minute cut. Slow motion glances, half smiles, beach sunsets. In 48 hours, the video hit 12 million views, tripling projections for a mid-budget rom-com. The marketing chief reportedly told staff, "Messy sells." Interns repeated it like gospel. Glen and Sydney found themselves actors in 2 feature films, one on screen, the other unfolding in gossip columns. Their interviews grew slippery. A reporter would ask about the kiss scene. Glen would wink, "Acting is believing," then watch the quote go viral. Sydney tried volleying back with talk of character depth, but fans clipped only the giggles. By premiere week, CinemaScore tables predicted a sleeper hit. Yet backstage, 2 former partners nursed fresh wounds. Gigi liked tweets calling Sydney a career homewrecker. Davino deleted his Instagram entirely. Neither issued statements. Silence spoke louder. Still, the red carpet rolled out, flashbulbs burst, and the film opened #1 in 12 countries. But that was only the prologue. Because once the final credits faded, real life refused to go quietly. And what came next would fracture friendships, ignite fresh rumors, and prove how thin the line can be between clever publicity and genuine heartbreak. The morning after Anyone But You conquered the December box office, Glen Powell woke up single for the first Christmas in 3 years. Gigi had moved her things out of his Hollywood Hills home 2 weeks earlier, friends hauling garment racks into a waiting Sprinter van while Glen wrapped televised interviews downtown. She left a handwritten note. No one but Glen has seen the words, but her inner circle claims it ended with, "Time to stop playing second string." For Sydney, Christmas carried its own chill. Spokane relatives expected save the dates. Instead, they heard rumors of a pause. Paparazzi caught Jonathan Davino exiting the Chicago townhouse they once shared. Head down, suitcase rolling behind him, no comment offered. By New Year's Eve, fan forums swapped theories. Did she offhandedly postpone the vows for Oscar shots? Did Davino feel duped by Hollywood spin? The truth hid behind closed doors. January 2024 delivered a bigger plot twist. A leaked Sony memo revealed that social listening metrics around the alleged affair had driven a 40% spike in trailer views and a 22% rise in female 1834 ticket sales, numbers rarely achieved by rom-coms outside Valentine's season. Shareholders applauded, critics cringed. Glen's response? He joined the cast of a classified plot action sequel, rumored Top Gun 3, and disappeared into flight trainer boot camp, swapping tabloid headlines for 5 a.m. cockpit drills. When journalists cornered him at a charity gala, asking if Sydney ever crossed a line, he flashed the same practiced grin and replied, "I believe in movie magic, not gossip." Cameras caught the soundbite, and Twitter melted down again. Sydney leaned the opposite way, into endorsement heaven. A global skincare brand printed her face on Times Square billboards. Then Baskin-Robbins tapped her for an entire summer menu of ice cream collabs. The more the tabloids pushed heartbreaker labels, the more contracts arrived in her inbox. Behind bright lights, though, the pair remained in cautious text contact. A source familiar with Sydney's circle says Glen sent a midnight message the night Davino moved out. "Never wanted this fallout for you." She allegedly replied, "Some storms we call ourselves into." Neither side denies the texts, neither confirms them. Ambiguity, once again, sells. Spring 2024 pressed rewind. A reshoot day in Los Angeles for extended Blu-ray scenes reunited the leads. Crew members leaked that the on-set tension felt thick enough to sculpt, yet when the camera rolled, they delivered flawless ad-libs, one moment cracking jokes about lost luggage, the next diving into dramatic close-ups. By wrap, they hugged in view of 10 smartphone cams. The clip trended by nightfall. Meanwhile, Gigi Paris resurfaced with a Vogue Mexico cover titled Reborn, posing in crimson silk and telling editors she was grateful for every closed door. Readers decoded the subtext instantly. June 2024 delivered the first public denial from Sydney. During a podcast, the host asked if she and Glen had dated. She laughed. Too long, critics noted. Then answered, "We played lovers so well, people forgot it was pretend." The quote became tabloid wallpaper, although the full sentence continued, and that says more about viewers craving drama than about us. Many outlets snipped the final clause, cementing controversy yet again. By fall, Sony's internal reports celebrated a $175 million global tally for Anyone But You, outperforming projections by nearly 60%. Executives credited the authentic buzz campaign. Detractors called it emotional collateral. One anonymous crew member summed it up. "Hollywood used to build sets. Now it builds rumors." His remarks slid into an industry blog and racked up 30,000 shares overnight. From the outside, hearts healed slowly. Davino launched a Chicago pizza chain, refusing interviews. Gigi dated a European DJ for 6 quiet months before unfollowing him, too. Glen eased into fighter jet training. Sydney trained for a boxer biopic, bruising her nose on set and telling co-stars she didn't mind the ache. Pain, in her words, reminds you the stakes are real. Yet stakes were about to rise again because Hollywood weddings make ripe hunting grounds for fresh headlines, and Jeff Bezos' Venetian vows in June 2025 promised more flashbulbs than the Oscars. With Glen grounded in a secret soundstage and Sydney newly unringed, the stage for Act 3 set itself, Venice doesn't sleep during a billionaire's wedding. Gondoliers ferried super yachts of champagne, paparazzi hid in flower boxes, and Sydney Sweeney arrived alone, wearing a strapless pink gown that matched the sunset over San Giorgio Maggiore. She wasn't on the official guest list until late. Insiders claimed Amazon MGM, Bezos' new studio jewel, requested her presence to pay respects to the boss, echoing old Hollywood etiquette. Cameras granted her a new headline, "Sydney, single and thriving." Then, Glen Powell's name surfaced in whispers. Was he coming? No. Studio obligations kept him stateside. That absence mattered because the story needed a fresh triangle, and fate obliged. Tom Brady, freshly divorced, greeted Sydney on the dance floor. Orlando Bloom, nursing his own breakup, joined them for a midnight stroll along Venetian canals. One snapshot of all three walking under string lights launched a swirl of Love Triangle 2.0 tweets before dawn. Glen watched from across the Atlantic, posting nothing, but Hollywood can measure silence. Tabloids framed the photos as proof Sydney collected famous bachelors like movie credits. Comment threads split. Some cheered her freedom, others branded her heart bandit. The debate alone kept her name trending for 48 hours, longer than the actual wedding coverage. Back in LA, Glen's publicist scheduled Top Gun 3 set visit exclusives, banking on jets and nostalgia to outshine Venetian gossip. But one Entertainment Weekly journalist still slipped in the question. Anything to say about Sydney's new circle? Glen reportedly chuckled, sipped water, and answered, "I fly solo at Mach 2, that's all." The quip landed as both deflection and dagger, accumulating 500,000 reposts within hours. Sydney, meanwhile, doubled down on post-wedding headlines by dropping a lingerie and bikini photo set on Instagram under the caption, "Vacation mode on." Fashion outlets praised the confidence. Skeptics called it distraction tactics. The likes ticked past 2 million before breakfast. Brand managers couldn't buy that reach. They could only pray for it. Amid the digital fireworks, a quieter subplot stirred. Jonathan Davino registered a trademark for Davino's wood-fired in Illinois. Bloggers sniffed. Was the ring money now pizza investment capital? No comment came, but the filing date matched the week Sydney walked Venice in couture. Symmetry too perfect to ignore. Gigi Paris, scrolling from Paris Fashion Week fittings, posted a single-word story. Unbothered. Fans dissected the font, the shade, the timing, less than 7 letters, yet tabloids ran 3 paragraphs each. Again, silence proved the loudest marketing tool. Late July 2025, Sony executives held an earnings call. A slide titled "Organic Buzz and Long-Tail Revenue" displayed incremental VOD spikes every time gossip flared. CinemaCon, trailer drop, press tour, breakup, Venice stroll. One analyst asked if the tumult was engineered. The CFO laughed. "If we could bottle lightning, we'd sell it." Investors applauded the candor, unaware that Sydney's and Glen's real relationships were the glass bottles. The human side cut deeper. A childhood friend of Glen revealed in a podcast that he lost sleep over the way things spun out, confessing Glen had called him at 3 a.m. saying, "I wanted a hit film, not heartbreak collateral." The friend later walked back the quote, but the initial clip already captured 500,000 TikTok plays. Sydney told Harper's Bazaar she'd learned the cost of public curiosity. Everyone loves a romance until they realize real people bleed. Yet she added a coda the internet latched onto. Some wounds teach you how to market your own survival. Critics deemed it cynical. Fans called it honest. Still, the story had not broken its final wave, because when rumors grow too loud, they often reveal a truth nobody expects. And by autumn 2025, both actors faced a decision: silence forever, or one last confession that could rewrite every headline. September 2025 opened with a shock drop. Sydney Sweeney announced a memoir-style Audible original titled "Take After Take," promising the unfiltered cost of pretending for cameras in 6 narrated chapters. Pre-orders crashed the site in under an hour. Excerpt teasers hinted she would address a public entanglement that everyone thought they understood. That single line turned every entertainment show into a guessing game. Glen Powell's camp reacted within 48 hours. He booked a primetime interview with journalist Anderson Cooper, a platform known for harder questions. The promo clip zoomed out on Glen staring across the Pacific, voice low. There's a difference between publicity and betrayal, and sometimes you don't see it until headlines fade. Viewers circled the date on calendars, hashtags boomed. 2 narratives now raced. Sydney's audiobook hit feeds first. In Chapter 3, she described filming beach fire scenes where lines blurred, hearts raced, and the ocean couldn't wash away guilt. She never used Glen's name, but fans didn't need dotted lines. Later, in Chapter 5, she admitted calling off her engagement, because a promise shouldn't feel like PR collateral. The confession felt raw, yet she never confirmed consummation. She spoke of emotional drift. The word choice mattered. It kept YouTube commentators busy for days. Glen's interview aired a week later. Cooper asked whether he betrayed Gigi Paris for screen chemistry. Glen inhaled, exhaled, then said, "I crossed boundaries. I let hype guide choices. I hurt someone who deserved better." The admission sliced through months of ambiguity. Cooper probed, "Was it worth the box office record?" Glen shook his head. "A megawatt opening can't warm an empty house." Twitter trended Powell owns up within minutes. Gigi's response surfaced in a Fashion Week front row the next day. She wore a crystalline dress bearing the word "priceless" across the chest. Photographers needed no caption. Her silent clapback scored more likes than some runway looks. The final ripple came from Sony itself. During the studio's holiday slate reveal, an exec confirmed Anyone But You 2 was in active development. Same leads attached, shooting spring 2026. Reporters gasped. Would they risk reigniting the storm? The exec shrugged. Audiences decide what's messy. We deliver movies. Stock tickers bumped 2% on the news. Sydney and Glenn issued a joint statement the following morning. "We are committed to telling great stories together while honoring personal growth apart. Diplomacy at its finest." Yet the wording left space for every theory fans craved. By Christmas Eve 2025, Sydney posted a fireplace selfie alone. Caption, "Peace Buzz." Glenn shared a cockpit sunset. Caption, "Altitude Noise." Neither tagged the other. Comments still linked the two, proving the internet's memory refuses expiration dates. So where does that leave the messy relationship born for movie PR? In a twisted way, everyone won and everyone limped. The studio banked record profits. Viewers devoured a romantic fantasy and its real-life fallout. Sydney secured brand deals, Glenn secured franchise wings, Gigi rebranded into empowerment iconography, Davino flipped pizza into profit. But under champagne bubbles and screenshot culture, hearts cracked open, revealing a map of lines blurred for the sake of clicks. The question lingers long after the thumbnails fade. When studios light sparks between co-stars, do they owe fire insurance for the people standing closest? Or is emotional fallout just another cost of doing billion-dollar business? You decide. Because in Hollywood's newest romance economy, audience attention isn't just the box office. It's the heartbeat keeping every rumor alive. And as long as clicks feel like applause, the next on-screen spark turned off-screen scorch is probably already in production. Ready for the next jaw-dropping Hollywood unmasking? Hit subscribe, smash the like, and drop your wildest theory below, because your comment could spark our next deep dive expose.